Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right, so our question was, for this whole survey, was how extracurricular student organizations affect student experience. So what would be the purpose of this research topic? We decided it would be the main purpose of this project was to examine the effect of overall impact the student design teams and other student-led organizations had on the total experience of an average college student. We data collected can help students achieve the best possible college experience and potential to help student groups by generating interest. The procedures and methodology that we used, we decided to collect data for the research project. We decided to conduct an online survey. We received about 48 different responses from a variety of different groups, which we will get into later. And we emailed and posted the link to the leaders of the group and to the several organization group chats for various organizations. And this is one of the graphs that we had that shows the amount of time spent in the extracurricular activities. We have under a year and over a year. As you can see, we have about 23 responses in under a year and 25 in more than a year. And as shown, there's just about an equal amount of time spent both under and over a year in the respective groups.
So that last slide was our data broken up into our subgroups. This is our total data collected. You see there's 48 responses here to the question, in what ways your college experience been impacted by your involvement with student groups? And I had 3 potential answers for this question. The students can answer that it had a positive impact, no impact, or negative impact. As you can see, the results pretty overwhelming. Majority positive impact, 47 out of 48. Only one student felt that their experience was impacted not at all by their group that they were involved with. And you see this is our data divided by the subgroups shown earlier for more than a year or under a year. Subgroup number 1 is for students that have been involved with their groups for less than a year. You can see that one is the one that contains the one student who felt there was no impact. Our second subgroup, 100% of them had a positive impact. Another question we had on our survey was how their involvement with student groups impacted their job search. So basically, did their student organization help them find a job? 22 out of 48 said this wasn't applicable to them. That was mostly in subgroup 1, since being involved for less than a year, you're probably not going to get that much. 4 out of 48 said no, it did not help them at all. And 22 out of 48 said yes, their group did help them find a job. And you can see this divided into subgroups. Subgroup 1, less than a year. The majority of them not applicable. 5 did say, however, that their student group did help them. And then subgroup 2, obviously you can see the majority felt that their experience with their group has helped them find a job or an internship. So our assessment of this data, basically, it was pretty overwhelming majority. 47 out of 48 said that they had a positive impact. So that basically tells you that the impact of student groups can be very beneficial to students. And also, I believe it was 22 out of 48 students said that their student group helped them find a job. So that's a pretty good indicator that student groups do definitely have potential to help students find jobs. And analyzing the data by subgroups, obviously less than a year, groups weren't as useful in the job search, but the more time students spend in their groups, the better potential they have to actually get a job, or better potential that the student group has to help get a job. And our recommendations based on that assessment is joining a student organization is very beneficial for students. So if it is possible for the students, considering they have time, they want to put in the effort, they should definitely try to join an organization because it can be very beneficial. And some further study that we would recommend is researching the effect that specific groups have on these questions, because, I mean, there's a big difference between like the marching band and a student design team, for example. So it'd be very interesting to see comparing those two groups, how they affect job search.
As you can see here, these are everybody in the subgroup 1, everybody that has been in their group under a month, and whether they have helped in the job search. As you can see, we have groups such as the Zips Racing Group, the marching band, and Nuance, the all premier male a cappella group. And as you can see, most likely everybody that has been in the Zips Racing, which is an engineering group, they have had more likely, or that has helped with their job search. So being like an engineering group is going to help them in their later careers. And this is the other subgroup. This is the one in over a year. And as you can see, we have others such as Zips Racing and the marching band and a bunch of other groups. And a lot of these have helped them with their job search because they've been in the group longer and they've been able to make connections and stuff throughout the group and been able to help with their job search towards their future careers. And these are the references that we use for this whole research. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I have a question. So it's interesting to me that you had such an overwhelming positive response as far as the overall impact, but then you had some people responding that, you know, it didn't help them with their job search, but I guess they were still impacted positively. Why do you think that you had the pattern of response you did? Why more people didn't say that they were negatively impacted by experience in student groups? Why do you think that might be?
I think that's probably just because, in general, student groups are a very good way to see people overall, and also, get to know people, make friends, basically, and also find what you like to do. I mean, you're never going to be forced to join a student group, so basically, anyone who joins a student group is pretty much probably already thinking that that's what they like. So.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that as a member of the marching band and a member of the all-male a cappella group. I've been able to meet all my friends through that, and that hasn't helped me look for a job or anything. I just really enjoy what I do. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
Do you think awareness impacts like participation in student groups? Do you think that could have been a question? Or future studies, perhaps?
That would definitely be a good thing to study some more. I know certain student groups, they struggle with recruiting, and that could be for a number of different reasons. Maybe they just don't really send out like posts or advertisements for their group or whatever. And then other groups like Zips Racing, typically it's pretty popular. Students in the engineering departments tend to know about it. We do presentations to different classes and stuff. So, yeah, I think how much the groups spread their message, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely a factor.
Yeah.
To the involvement.
Okay. I think that's all I didn't mean to ask. Other questions for this group? All right, well, thank you very much. Give them a round of applause.